Good morning. You're listening to Caregiver Crossing, a podcast brought to you by Joy's House. And we are so blessed and thrilled that you're here. Caregiver Crossing is a special podcast that's created just for you, the caregiver. I'm Tina McIntosh.
I'm Terry Stacy. Every week we're here with experts from across the country and lots of good resources too. And we also want to provide that comfort that caregivers often need. We all need it. This podcast serves to embrace the family caregivers of today and tomorrow. Thank you so much for being here. We've got an awesome guest for you to meet. Tina, you do the introduction.
All right, I want everybody to stay with me here because this is a really unique approach to the caregiver conversations. We're talking with Patricia Dominguez, who will join us here in just a moment, but she's the director of Kinship Care Services for Duet. Duet's a leading expert in Arizona on issues surrounding grandparents raising children. Just let that sink in for a minute. It's about grandparents raising children. Patricia's worked successfully on issues affecting grandparents since 1998. And under her leadership, Duet has provided services to over 1,000 kinship caregivers seeking assistance.
Yeah, it's a nonprofit. Duet is a nonprofit interfaith organization. I've been serving older adults in Greater Phoenix since 1981. Been with Duet, Patricia has been for 23 years. She's responsible for creating, developing, and implementing programs to support those grandparents. And it's just so great to have you here with us. And let's jump right in. You, Patricia, thanks for joining us. You've committed your career to helping grandparents care for their grandkids. So talk about your passion and purpose and why this was the place for you to be right now.
I just love what I do. I have the privilege of working with both the older adult and the grandchild. Many of my families that I interact with are in distress. And then we are that lifeline to making sense of their situations. The emotions are high. Many of the grandparents are confused as to what's happening within their family dynamics, and they need information. They require validation, and they want an understanding person who's not going to judge them for their situation. And so we're that starting place. And I believe that's why we, began working with grandparents and relative caregivers. And we're that valuable resource in the community.
So I have three kids and they're, college, high school, and middle school. And I can say with confidence, parenting isn't easy the first time around, but these grandparents find themselves doing this a second time. So what is this that you're finding? Like, why does this make for a special area of interest when it comes to the work that you all do?
Mm-hmm. So, grandparents historically have been an extended part of the family. That's nothing new. But what we saw is a shift in the parental responsibilities. And so grandparents, they want to keep their family together. They often step up, and kinship care is more common than we'd like to admit, unfortunately. And so keeping these families together is really what the grandparents, that's their desire. That is what they want to do.
And I hear you, Patricia, saying kinship care. I've never heard that term before. Is that something you all coined?
Kinship care is inclusive. It's including grandparents, aunts and uncles, siblings from time to time. Sometimes it's godparents. So, we do mainly work with grandparents raising grandchildren, but we also want to include our relative caregivers. So kinship caregivers would include all of those family members.
You designed this incredible and really unique respite care service to help grandparents. Tell us about that.
Well, we do definitely understand the importance of self-care and the impact of reducing the stress for our kinship caregivers. So we definitely listened to our grandparents when it came to how they felt very exhausted. And we designed uniquely our respite assistant program. This gives them an opportunity to have a little break and, do something that they enjoy, whether that be taking a nap or hanging out with friends for a lunch date. I just believe that it's vital for families to have that little break just to maintain a healthy perspective and just reduce that stress level of raising kids all over again. So yes, we believe respite is what what helps many of the grandparents. I always tell grandparents, think of us as the ones who write the check. You find a provider, whether that's, karate or a swim or day camp. Okay. So.
Yeah, that makes sense. And, I'm sure you've seen lots of challenges over the years. I know you yourself are helping to raise your grandchildren. Do you have an example of someone you've worked with over the years that's really touched your heart and made an impact?
I want to say all of them have. Many of the grandparents that come are heartbroken. This is not what they dreamed of. They wanted, their desire was to have trips, hang out with friends, just live a life of comfort and relaxation. And now you are having children, and you lose friends sometimes because this is not something other folks want to be a part of. So when I think of families, I think of the pain of why they're raising them. And many of the reasons is substance abuse. But as time goes on, I see the challenge in the beginning. It's very challenging for the dynamics with the adult parent, the children. And as time goes on, it's lovely to see perhaps that youth, that little person that came and now as a teenager looks back at their life, the lifestyle of their adult parent, and say, Grandma, I know why now you had to take me and protect me. And then even moving forward is that adult child looking back at all of the damage that they've caused in their own life. And now the healing has started and they've started to mature. And they look back and say, my mom did everything to take care and keep my children protected. And I love that, the tragedy, the heartbreak. Now, in the end, years later, it's resolved.
Patricia Dominguez is with us. She's the director of Kinship Care Services for Duet, a leading expert in Arizona on issues surrounding grandparents raising grandkids. You're doing it or have done it. Before we get to the last question here, because we're starting to run out of time, but what is it? What is the hardest thing about being a parent again?
I want them to know that they're not alone. Many times grandparents say, I go out in the backyard and I just want to scream because I feel like I'm the only one doing this. And it becomes real burdensome for many of the families. And so we want them to know they're not alone. Get connected, find out who in your area is doing doing something for a kinship caregiver or grandparent. And the hardest part is, just being there, holding hands and working through the hard times. And I just love when they share the joys of raising grandchildren as well. All the good things.
Yeah, you are hearing the voice of Patricia Dominguez, and she's created Duet Arizona. I understand, Patricia, that you were an intern there 23 years ago. And I would imagine 23 years ago as an intern, you didn't think, hey, I'm going to start this program. It's the first of its kind. And so for you personally, what is it that keeps you going with this kind of work?
I love empowering the people. I love empowering my grandparents, giving them accurate information and just, making sure that they're okay, taking care of themselves, and so that they can be successful, that they're enriching their lives and also their little person's life.
We're so glad that you've had time to join us today. Patricia Dominguez, the director of Kinship Care Services at Duet, a leading expert in Arizona on issues surrounding grandparents raising grandchildren. I'll tell you, if anything, it's an awareness just having you here to focus on our grandparents and what they're doing right now, besides, being retired and enjoying life as we thought you would. You're raising kids and getting joy from doing just that too. So we're glad you're here. If you'd like more information, you can go to duetaz.org. duetaz.org. Tina, anything before we go?
I just want to say thank you, Patricia. Thank you for looking at caregiving from a different perspective, and thank you for bringing awareness. And just glad you're here. So thank you
Thank you as well. I really appreciate sharing the information. I love it.
Absolutely. Well, and if you want to get in touch with Patricia and you forget the contact information, you're always stuck with me. You can email me at Tina@joytask.com. caregivers.org. We're happy to help you through the caregiving journey and put you in touch with others who are part of this greater network, because as Patricia said, you are not alone. And so I also want to say thank you to AARP. And Terry, I'm going to let you explain who they are to us here at Caregiver Crossing.
Leading a revolution in the way that people view and live life after 50. And they put out some fantastic publications, but they really do. Also thrilled that they've come on board to support our podcast and so much more. Our friends at AARP supporting Caregiver Crossing. We love that they're working to empower people to choose how they live as they age. Our guest, Patricia Dominguez, thank you so much. And for all of you out there, thank you for listening to Caregiver Crossing. Once again, we appreciate you being here with us. And, you're always welcome to, as Tina said, send her a note. Let us know what topics you're interested in right now as we're into the summer months. Let us know what you're thinking about, and we'd be glad to line up some fantastic guest ideas that you present to us as well. Tina, have a great week, everybody. Thanks for listening to Caregiver Crossing, and we'll talk to you next time.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.